How I turned $1,000 into $300,000 in 2017's bull market. Very long. Credit for this post goes to Squeaky-Bed. First, English is my second language, so please forgive my poorly organized, horribly formatted and super long story. Also, I never shared this story before and wasn't really planning to, but I told it to one of my now close friend who is a crypto nerd like me, and he said it was inspiring and that I should share it, so here goes. It's 2014. I'm working a minimum wage job at a labels factory. I box the finished labels. 6 months later, I'm promoted and I'm head of the quality assurance department. Happened super fast and everyone was amazed that it happened, including myself. I got a raise and life was good. One day the owner decided to hire a team leader, basically a tier 2 boss, an authoritarian jerk that hates my guts. We get in an argument. I turn my back on him and walk away, and he ends up physically assaulting me for it. I threaten to sue, and they fire me because of it. I complain to the EOC because I can't afford a lawsuit. We mediate, and like an idiot I settled for the $5,000 they offered me. I paid my lawyer $400, bought us a new furnace because ours was old and had broke down. I replaced the kitchen sink, paint the house, and did some other minor repairs. All said and done, and after working for nearly 2 years at that company, I'm unemployed, depressed, and have nothing to show for it. Well, except for a $1,000 I have left from the settlement that I wanted to preserve and invest in something instead of spending it. I spend a couple months of freelancing and hustling trying to find a new source of income. And one day I'm on some random forum trying to find a solution to a problem I have with my code. I have 13 plus years of programming experience: C++, C#, ASM and reverse engineering. I read the word Bitcoin for the first time ever, and the person talking about it made it sound like it's the next big thing and that it's going to do wonders for apps and payment systems. Other replies to that same post were talking about how it will make them all rich. I got curious, and on September 2015, I Google Bitcoin for the first time ever, and I end up on Coinbase. I bought $5 worth of Bitcoin for giggles. Forgot about it for 3 months. Then came back and sold it in October for $5.10. So I made 10 cents profit after Coinbase's outrageous fees. And I thought to myself, this is great. I just made 2% with minimal effort. Greed kicked in, and I started my quest to learn as much as I can about Bitcoin. Next thing I know, I'm on Coinbase Pro GDAX at the time, and was instantly hypnotized by the insane volatility and price swings. I immediately start buying and selling without any knowledge about trading whatsoever. I made some money then and lost more than I made, and now I have $820 left, and I realized I'm not going to beat the market like this. My orders were being front ran by bots. Didn't know they were bots at the time because they keep burying my limit orders whenever I post them, and I don't get filled. Also, fees for market orders were exceeding my profit, so I end up losing instead of making money. Thinking like a programmer, a problem solver really, I thought to myself, there has to be a way for me to do the front running. I do some googling, learn about the exchange API. I fired up Visual Studio, downloaded some files/libraries, and spent a few weeks creating a prototype that would speed things up and give me an edge. At first I used C#, and it looked like crap, but it performed well, and with the ability to place orders as fast as possible and free limit orders, my balance started growing. Slowly but surely I kept improving the prototype over the years, and it evolved into a fully functional trading platform. I eventually used DirectX to recreate the order books locally. This part happened much later, 2019ish, because the exchange kept freezing and crashing when I needed it the most, and lo and behold, I had outdone myself and created a fine trading platform. One click insta buy/sell and everything was pre-calculated for me. All I had to do was preset the hash of lots I wished to flip in each trade and click either the buy or sell buttons. Within a few weeks of the first prototype I was up from $800 to $8,000 scalping Bitcoin's volatile market, and I was ecstatic. I was over the moon, pun intended. However, the market was slowing down, and it is now boring, and I'm not making any money, and I was never happy that I could only trade Bitcoin and Litecoin on Coinbase, and was scared to trade anywhere else for fear of losing my money with all the hacks and scams that were happening almost every day. But then I learned about a coin called Lisk, and the Lisk zealots managed to convert me, and I end up joining them, and opened a Bittrex account lol. By now I had spent $3,000 in life expenses, and I have $5,000 left, so I move it to Bittrex, and add Bittrex to my trading platform, and go all in on Lisk at $3. I was convinced it is going to the moon, and will make me rich. I go to my wife and beg her to borrow some money from her dad for me, or maximum out a credit card, or whatever she can do to get me a few more $1,000, so that I could add more to my Lisk position. Because I have no credit score history and no one would lend me, she was terrified and refused to help me. I didn't get a single dime. Hindsight, I'm glad she didn't. So there I was, angry at my wife. I was wrong, I know, determined to prove her wrong, and show her that this will work, and that I'm not going to lose. So I'm trading like a degenerate with my entire stack. Looking like a zombie from malnutrition and lack of sleep, but I pull through and grow that $5,000 into $24,000 within roughly 1.5 months. Phew, I did it. I shout looking at my wife. I did it. I told you I can do it, but you never believed in me. And my head grew bigger and bigger to the point where it wouldn't fit through the door anymore. Meanwhile Litecoin is pumping like a mother, but I had no idea, because I'm not paying attention to anything else but my cash cow Lisk. Now that Lisk is slowing down, rebranding delayed, and hype was dead, I sell it all, transfer the cash back to GDAX, and join the Litecoin frenzy. By now it's December 2017, and it was insane. It was lit, everything was on steroids and dollar signs everywhere. I was going all in on every trade, spot trading, and with every trade and my account kept growing. First it was growing hundreds, then Litecoin went parabolic, and it was thousands of dollars with every click of the mouse. Every click of the buy/sell buttons I made or lost a few $1,000s. Never holding on to a position loser or winner. I catch the wicks, which were huge, and would flip it in seconds, just to go back to fiat for fear of getting whipsawed and losing it all. By now I had grown my $24,000 into $100,000 within like 3 days at the market's peak. Litecoin at like $150 plus. The joy I felt, the happiness, the pride. I was victorious and those 3 days were like a crazy epic dream. So now I'm gloating and teasing my wife, telling her how I did it all by myself and thanking her for all the help she didn't offer. Meanwhile, Litecoin is still pumping like crazy. But I was content. I had just broken the 100k mark and was ready to celebrate. But of course life is never sunshine and rainbows. To my dismay, my wife asks, "What about taxes?" I'm like, "What taxes? I already paid the fees. I'm a foreigner, so I knew nothing about taxes in the US of A. She said you have to pay capital gain taxes on this. It's like 30%. My face turned pale and my heart skipped a beat. I jump out of bed, go online and research capital gain taxes. And I realized she was right. I'm going to end up paying at least 25% to 32% of my money in taxes. I felt like I wanted to cry and all the joy and happiness I had felt was gone. Hindsight, I should have been happy even after taxes. But I decided to push forward and make the 32% that I have to pay in taxes to get to the 100k mark after taxes while the market is hot. So I cancelled the moon party and went back upstairs, started the computer, and started trading again. So now I'm back at it, still killing it, making more and more money. This continues for a day or two more, and by the time the crypto party was over, and when Litecoin started the big crash from $400 to $150, I was all back in cash, and I had made a grand total of $310,000 plus an $105,000 plus trades in about 6 months. Most trades were made in December 2017 and January 2018 on Bitcoin, Litecoin and Lisk combined. I at first protested paying taxes for weeks, no for months, because it seemed unfair to me. But the April 15th deadline drew ever closer, and our CPA scared me straight, telling me about all the fees and fines I would have to pay if I delay paying the IRS. So I reluctantly agreed and paid all of my taxes to Uncle Sam. It was a massive chunk of money to give away all at once, and it made me sick to the stomach. And that, my friends, is the long short version of the story of how I turned a $1,000 into $300,000. I hope to one day be able to tell a story of how I turned whatever I have left of the $300,000 now into $1 million, or even better, into a multi-million-dollar fortune. I know some people did like 1,000 times better than me, but for my story, I'm proud of what I had achieved so far, and I thought it would be cool to share the story and to hear other people's success stories. I still am doing great in this bull market, and trading crypto has been my full-time job ever since I got fired from my job at the labels factory. I have grown a lot since, by the way. I thought about sending the owner of the factory that fired me a letter thanking him for firing me, because it was the best thing that ever happened to me, but I never did. If you have made it this far, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and wish you and everyone else the best of luck and riches beyond your wildest dreams.